Front Row Phyllis, and we are thrilled to have joining us Nick Fradiani, who plays the lead in A Beautiful Noise, the Neil Diamond musical. Welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Nice to see you again.
We talked a little off camera, is that you won American Idol season 14.
Right.
Now you transition into musical theater.
Right.
How did all this come about?
I don't know. I still am trying to figure that out. No, I mean, so after 2015, I went on. I did a lot of, put a lot of albums out. I toured a bunch, and which I still do, But in 2019, I got asked to be in A Bronx Tale, one of my favorite movies, and Chaz Palminteri. It was a musical at that point, and I did the national tour of that, and kind of really fell in love and learned a lot about acting and musical theater, and got an agent. And then the pandemic happened, and once I heard this was coming, the Neil Diamond musical was going to Broadway, I was texting my new agent, who was, and I was like, this is it, you got to get me in for this role. And because my dad was a huge Neil fan. And so yeah. And then, many years later, I'm still doing it. I got to perform on Broadway for many years, and to now be taking it on the, taking around the country is pretty awesome.
I read somewhere that, so your parents took you to, you were 3 years old.
Yeah.
To the first Neil Diamond concert.
Yeah.
So, okay, you're 3 years old. Did they not have a
there's
sitter?
Yeah, right. Well, there's arguments over if I was 3 or 4, but it was my first concert, and I was pretty musical at a very young. So that was my dad's job. So my dad was a musician from the time I was an infant and he still plays. But his full-time job was he would travel all over and perform. So I was like on stage with him at like 3 and 4, and would like mumble lyrics into the microphone, and so I was really singing along and knew a lot of the songs. And so yeah, they brought me. I was on my dad's shoulders and was jamming out to Neil in probably 89 or something, or 90. And so yeah, to kind of, and my dad loved Neil. My dad used to do a bunch of Neil songs in his sets back when he would play in Atlantic City and everything. So to be able to do this now, my dad was, when he would come on the Broadway, to see us on Broadway, he was like blown away and just loved it.
So we all know that the ladies love Neil Diamond.
Yeah,
I mean, everyone
I found that
Neil.
out. I found that out in New York City. They love
Really?
him. Oh yeah, they love him. Yeah,
love
Neil.
Love him.
Yeah.
But this production really takes us, like the story behind the man, right?
Yeah.
So tell our viewers a little bit about what they're going to see on this.
Sure. Well, obviously, everybody knows Neil as the rock star who was one of the highest grossing artists of all time, and at one point was, the #1 touring artist in the world, ahead of Elvis Presley and just everything. He was, he was one of the biggest and is one of the biggest artists of all time. So everybody knows his songs and knows his music, but really nobody knows his story. He was a private guy. Now knowing him, he's still a pretty private guy, and but this is the way he wanted his story to be told. He wanted it to be told as a musical. There's no movie, there's no book that he wrote, and he worked on the writing of this musical. So I think people are going to really learn about the man, and and why his songs were written, and you'll learn a lot more about his music, why he wrote some of those songs, and it's just that the show is so much fun, and you're going to have like the party, like Neil Diamond Arena concert, but you're also going to have this very deep felt, like it has a lot of heart to it, and people are really gonna learn a lot about Neil and his amazing story.
I heard that he surprised a Broadway audience.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, and he was there live during Sweet Carolina.
Yeah, and he sang.
And he sang.
It was crazy. Yeah, he hadn't sung in years, and we didn't really know if he was gonna or not. And he grabbed the mic. He was up, up in the balcony, and he just grabbed the wireless and became that rock star again for 2 minutes and sang Sweet Carolina. It was pretty moving, and I think that was the last time he sang too, so it was crazy.
So what is it going to take for us to bring him here?
I mean, that's a good question.
Should I send a note? What should I do?
I'll message his wife. She gets back to me quick, and I could say, let's get Neil out there. Katie might make it happen, so we'll see.
Let's do it. Let's
You never know.
You never know. Oh my gosh. It was great seeing you
Great
again,
seeing you
and
too.
we can't wait to see you tonight on stage here.
That's right.